fix the problem. And at the same time, by tomorrow, we are contacting our IT department to be sure that, or to find out the problem and get it fixed. So since we have all your emails, and we are going to send you the software when we get it fixed. At the same time, Dr. Hamid is happy to teach us the software, and like it's a basic slide he's going to show us, something that you can do it at home when you have the software in your email. And he's also going to share the data set that you can use to analyze, to practice at home. And also there is something that he will tell us at the end, something about coding. So um, in the course of the lecture, you know what coding is and how you can use it. So before we proceed, as we normally do in our previous webinar, this webinar is organized by Pharmacy Scholars Initiative. And we try to remind people about who we are before we start the lecture. So the lecture is organized by Pharmacy Scholars Initiative. And this is an initiative. Before we start this lecture, please, I would like to call your attention regarding some few rules, which the rules are very common in every webinar, but we are just trying to remind ourselves. So this webinar is being recorded. So please mind that this webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be available on our website, www.pharmacyscholarinitiative.weebly.com. And also the links will be shared via our social media outlets, WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube channel. And please, during the course of the webinar, if you have anything to share with us, observation, questions, you can use the chat box or you can raise your hand. So who we are. So Pharmacy Scholars Initiative is a mentorship network for pharmacists. This pharmacy who with a very keen interest in research and career development. So it was founded in 2017, more specific in December 1st. And as I'm talking to you, the forum is registered with Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. And we have membership from almost all different parts of the world. So at the moment, the main objective of this forum is to guide and teach our upcoming scholars on research conceptualization of research ideas, on how to design research, how to conduct the research, and how to report the research. Research reporting includes publication of scientific findings and research presentation in conferences and any scientific community. We also support young researchers on scientific writing skills, because you can never be a scholar without having a skill of writing. So we all know that scientific writing is not ordinary letter writing or novel writing. So it has some skills that you need to know. So that's what we do. We teach our members on how to write proposal, how to write thesis, and how to develop a manuscript. And we will, from time to time, we also share and discuss some educational resources among our members. And the most time, we also guide our members on career development and like where to go from here if you have these qualifications. So today's, by the grace of God, we are going to listen our very renowned Dr. Hammed Musibau, who is a very expert in economics and data analysis. So the agenda for today's program is we will have an introduction of our guest speaker, who is going to be delivered by Dr. Fatima A. Awal, who is a doctoral researcher at King's College, University, London. And we have hands-on training on Stata, who is to be delivered by Dr. Hammed from Tasmanian Business School, University of Tasmania, Australia. And I will handle the session and question and answer session. And the closing remark will be delivered by Dr. Abubakar Shaban, who is the chairman, Pharmacy Scholars Academic Planning Committee. So without wasting much of your time, I will invite Dr. Fatima Awal to share her slide and to tell us who this, our very rare species is, Dr. Hammed Musibau. So Dr. Fatima, if you are close to your system, please share your screen and let us know who is this expert. Thank you so much. Fatima, are you there?
Can you see my screen? Hmm?
No, it says you are.
Hello.
No, we can't see. It says you are sharing.
Oh, we can't see your screen.
Okay. What about now?
Yes, we can see.
We can see now.
Yeah.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fatima Idris Awal, and I'm happy to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Musibau Hamid today. Musibau is a doctoral researcher at the Tasmanian School of Business and Economics, University of Tasmania, Australia. He has all his degrees in economics, his BSc, MSc, and PhD. He was among the 15 scholars invited by the Asian Development Bank in Japan to discuss issues related to green energy and analysis of energy reform data for the World Bank. Wow. His interests are green economics, finance, big data, and growth. He has published articles in big journals, energy policy, technological forecasting and social change, resource policy, and is a reviewer for the International Journal of Finance and Economics and also Journal of Environmental Management. Dr. Hamid has attended many scientific conferences and he loves traveling and meeting people. So he's meeting us today. We are happy to meet you too, Dr. Hamid. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fati. So you can close your screen and Prof. Prof, the floor is yours.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, boss, we can see it.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar, the pharmacy initiatives. Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to introduce Stata to us. Don't be scared about Stata, okay? Stata is just like the ordinary statistical software, like our normal SPSS, is even simple more than even Excel. So once we understand how to speak English and we can write English very well, it's very, very easy and very, very interactive. Yeah. So today I will just introduce us to Stata, and I will introduce us to the interface of the Stata, how we can enter data and how we can give a descriptive analysis of the data we want to enter. And I want to introduce also a big data as well. So I want to introduce also data that involves various countries, not a particular countries. And I will introduce time series analysis as well, a single country. Then we're going to have a conclusion of what we're going to be discussing today. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it, sir.
Yeah. Stata is just like a normal statistical tools like normal SPSS, eView, and other tools that you are familiar with. Very easy to analyze various forms of data, be it time series, panel analysis, or cross-sectional analysis. What we meant by time series, when we are trying to do a research in a single country over a period of time, or we are trying to do a research for a certain thing over a period of time, that is a time series analysis. Suppose we are trying to investigating something on Nigeria, we are talking of time series analysis over a period of time. So when it involves many countries, we are talking of panel analysis over a period of time. Like a period of time simply means from 1985 to 2018, for instance. So, but when we are analyzing various countries or various firms or individual in a particular year, we are talking of cross-sectional analysis. So the one we are going to be doing today is going to be a large data which involve various African countries. And we are going to be using application of Stata to do that. Yeah, don't be scared about what I'm going to show you. Is very, very simple. Just flow along with it. Yeah, okay. Can you see my Stata?
We only see the first slide that you showed.
Okay, let me share this one again. That's the problem about sharing, but all good, don't worry. Okay.
Yeah, it shows now.
Okay. Yeah. I want to use a bigger screen so that you can see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a research. We want to see the impact of the role of renewable energy consumption, human capital on economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa country. As we all know that energy is one of the problems in Africa, especially Nigeria. And human capital is a driver of economic growth of any nation. I think African is also deficient of that. So I just want us to look at this trading issue and try to use data to solve this trading issue. What I would like to do is to tell us how we can download the data from external source, World Bank. We start from downloading the data. I will teach us how we can get data from this. You can just type WDI. You can also try that well in your own screen. We have your system with you. So when you get to WDI, the first thing that will come up is World Bank Development Indicators. So if you click on these World Bank Development Indicators, it will show you. Yeah, it's loading. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Yeah. Don't worry, this is recorded. It's loading. We can download data of the world in 5 minutes from this website. So it gives us this arrow where we can filter. You can just click sub-Saharan African country. Then you can just click on this arrow mark to select all the 48 countries of West Sub-Saharan African country. Then you can click on select. It listed all those countries. So then what you can, after then, we go to the series, the data that we need. Okay, it's loading now. Okay, we need data on wealth. So we need data on economy. For instance, we pick this data. So I want to pick data on economy, on energy as well, renewable energy. We can type renewable here so that we will not waste our time. Renewable energy, and just click on it. Then we can just click on this one. Okay. Just for example, so we can just come here and click on the time that we want. Then we can click on select all years. And we can unselect the one we don't want. I don't want 2020. I don't want this one. Then I want to start from 1985 to 2018. Exactly what I stated up there. Okay, then we can select, no, 1985. We can just select. So we start from the countries, we pass through filter, we select West African country, and we click on mark. Then we click on select the country. We have the country listed here. Then we go to the series, we pick the variable we want, and we also list it. We can also list the variable we want here. We go to the time, we select all, and we unselect the one we don't want. Then we can also click list. So what you can do here, you can go to the layout, telling the World Bank to download this data in a panel form. What you can do here is to come here under the tab, change the column to row, and under series, change the row to column. Then click on apply. You change time to row and change series to column. Click on apply. It will load the data for you. Then we go to download option. You can click on Excel to download straight. Let's click on Excel. It will download straight in an Excel format. Okay. So that is it, you can see now. So you can just select any folder you want to download, and you can just name it Stata, anything, Stata class 0611. Then you save it. Yeah. What you can see, this is the data. It has downloaded. So all the data, for example, for like fertilities, all those data that's related to pharmacy, you can have all those data from the World Bank, and you can follow the same process for your research. So the major problem you can encounter is that all these dots, Stata will not allow them. It will create an error in Stata. You can now clean your data. That you start from the data cleaning. So what you can do is just to select your Excel, Control-A, and click on Control-Find, Control-F. So it will show you this box. Then you go to replace. All these dots, just type dot, then replace all. So click on OK and remove this one. Then you can see it's clean now. Very simple. You just go to you click Control-A, then Control-F, then you go to replace, you type dot, replace all, it will clean all the data. Then the data is ready. So the data I use for this analysis, I follow the same method, and I've sent it to Dr. Ibrahim. He's going to share it for you. This is the data for GDP growth for 45 African countries. So this is the data. Then how do we enter this data on Stata? So normally you just click data. When you click on Stata, this is the icon of the Stata. You just click it. When you click it, it will load. Yeah, this is the interface of the Stata. Don't be scared. It is very easy. So the first thing we are going to do is the data entry. This is the interface of the data entry. We have two methods of entry data on the Stata. We have Excel method and we have CSV options. But I'm going to be teaching us how to use Excel format and how we can use the copy and paste method. It is very easy that we can even copy and paste our data on Excel, on the Stata. So if you want to use copy and paste, the easiest way, just you can see icons here. Can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay, yeah, you can see various icons here. You can see data editor.
But they are too tiny.
Okay, yeah. The problem is I can increase the font of this one. That's why. Yeah.
But we can zoom it from our end.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Apologies for that. Yeah. Viewers, can I? No. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So, yeah, when you on the top edge, you will see something called new do file. You can see data editor. When you click on data editor, it will show you something like this when you click data editor. So that means it's ready for you to upload your data. So then you go to your Excel file. I'll bring my Excel file so that you can see. This is my Excel file. I'll just copy this data. You select it and you copy it. Then you go to your editor, you just paste. When you paste, it will bring out this box. Do you want to name variable? Just click name variable. So yeah, that is number one method, first method. So we have data loaded. Another method, I can close this one. Then, okay, the data is already loaded. If I don't want this data, I want to show us another method. Just type clear. Simple English. Even when you are using command, it's just English. Just type clear. When you enter clear, it clears all the data. Then let me go through another process. You go to your file. Then, don't worry, this is recorded. You go to import. From import, you can see Excel spreadsheets. You click on Excel spreadsheets. Then it will take you to a place where you can browse and pick your data. I'll click on browse. Then I have my Stata folder opened already. Then I named it the data file 011. Then you can click on open. It's telling me the data is open somewhere here. I'll just close it here. Okay. Okay. I'll click on it again and open. Then it opens. So what you can do is, it asks you two questions. Import all the data as a string or import the first row as a variable names. Just click on import the variable as variable name and just click OK. So what you can see is that the data is loaded again. So those are the two methods you can use to load the data. So this is the data, the same data I showed you guys. So now, this is the data, this in the Stata, what you can see here is that you can see result here. You can see the command section here. And Stata has a facility that whenever you run any command on Stata, it will store it automatically. And this section, you can see the data you are using for your analysis. Okay. So as you can see in the Stata has, before you start the data, you start from what they call a do file. So when you have the data, when you uploaded the data, you go to this edge, you create a new do file. From the do file, you can be running your Stata, but I don't want us to start from there because that can make us scared. So what we can do is just to try basic things in Stata. Okay, I'll bring out my do file again and show us some things that I've written here. You got the do file. This, I name it the way I want to do my research. The role of, I can increase the font of this one so that we can see very well. I can change this one to 25 or 22. So we can see it now. So we are looking at the role of renewable energy consumption, human capital, investment in human capital, and economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa. The data from 1985 to 2018. So these are the data that we used, that we downloaded from the World Bank. Our dependent variable is the wealth of the nation, which is, we use indicator real GDP annual growth. And we have a data on the natural resources. We have data on human capital, which is the school enrollment primary school. We have data on renewable energy, and this is the data we downloaded, the definition of the data. And we have foreign direct investments, and this is the definition of the data that we downloaded for foreign direct investments. So Stata has an interactive phase, and you can also be using a command. So the first thing you do on the Stata is to declare your variable as either panel or time series analysis. Okay, when we started, I said a panel analysis involves a large data. As we can see that we are investigating analysis of 45 African countries. And we want to see the impact of human capital on the wealth of that very nation. So we want to see the impact of natural resource abundance in Africa on their economic growth. We want to see the impact of the renewable energy on their economic growth. So the first thing we're going to do is to declare our data as a panel analysis. The command for panel analysis is ST. I'm going to send you the code and everything and the slide, and you're going to have this video. It's very simple, just follow. ST set. Then, because we have many years, you click on year here. You click on, you can also type countries, and you can click on year. We also have the variable year here in our analysis. I can click on it. Instead of typing, I can also type it. So I can click on year as well, but country comes before year. Just to declare, to tell Stata that this is a panel analysis. Just click on enter on your, it will tell you a panel variable. There are some data missing, that's why he called it unbalanced data. The time variable is from 1985 to 2018. So the first thing we can do with Stata, we can tell the pattern of the data. that we are trying to analyze. We can tell the historical story of that very data. What is the trend of economic growth in African country? What you can do is just to type a command, just test st line, then you put the variable you want to analyze. Okay, let's say real GDP. Yeah, okay. And click enter. So real GDP is the income of that very line. And we can tell a lot of things about the real GDP. Let's see what Stata will bring when we execute this command. Yeah, it's loading. That's loaded. So it's too tiny. Preference. Can I font size? Okay. I want to see if I can increase the font, but unfortunately, I can't just increase the font. But okay, I think it's becoming very big now or something like that. So what we can see here is we can see the pattern of economic growth in various 45 African countries using executing that very command. We can see that the growth has been what? Stationary over years. There's not even meaningful growth in all these countries. We can see some that they are even fluctuating, they are even coming down. No any meaningful growth. There's no variability among the growth of this nation. So this African country. So, and you can design, you can present this thing. This is even data analytics. You can present this thing by clicking on edit. You can go to your Stata editor and click on Stata editor. You click on this arrow, it will edit this. You know why it's very slow? Because I'm presenting. Okay, then we can click on title here. Then I can say, that is very slow. Can just say economic growth. Economic growth in West Sub-Saharan African country, 1985 to 2018. Then I can click on, okay, I want size, I can pick on medium, small, and I can pick on any color I want. I can click on maybe red glow or something like that. I can click on apply. And okay. So what you can see is that these are the way they present trend analysis. So if you're working as a data analyst for a certain company, you can present a trend analysis. You can tell them the pattern of the data that you are asked to present. This is a small graph for various 45 West African countries, and we can write a lot of things on this. You can edit this one. You can just click on time and put anything you want and design this graph the way you want it. So you can just write years and click on apply. That's it. And we can save it. Stop. It has it to save. You can save this thing in any format you want. You can save it using Stata format. If you want to edit it, it's better you save it in Stata format. You can also save it in JPEG for picture if people that they are using LaTeX. So I also propose to teach us how to prepare our CV so that we can flow in the international market using a LaTeX to prepare our CV. So so that will be the next thing. So you can save this one using PDF, you can use JPEG, you can have various options. You just save it and you can use it in the later future. So that is this one. I will close this graph. Then I will just do a descriptive analysis now of data we downloaded. Okay, so what I will do now is you can do a descriptive analysis. Only what you need to just write is just to write a command summarize. So the abbreviation of summarize is in Stata is just sum, S-U-M. Then you can pick the variable you want and just type enter and it will summarize for you. Then we can now tell another story from our data. So all the commands I've been executing, I have them here. I'm going to share with you guys. So these are the data downloaded. I have ordered it. You can also order your data. Instead of me looking for the variable, I can also tell Stata to order it the way I want it. So I just have to write command order, then I'll click on the variable I want. I'll just say order. So if you look at this place, it will order it the way I want it so that I won't be looking for the data I'm using. Then in the same order, I can also use the same command and just change this order to summarize all this data. Then we can tell a lot of story here again. So I don't know if you can see this thing very well. We can see here, we have the real GDP with the income of African countries. And what we can see is that the minimum growth in sub-Saharan African country is just 4.1%. If you are writing your research, you can just suggest that the minimum average growth in West Africa, in sub-Saharan African country is just 4.1%. This is true based on this data. And we can say that the minimum growth in sub-Saharan African country is minus 50%. And the maximum growth is 149%. We don't know the country that has it here. So we can see that there is heterogeneity among these countries, which also a problem in statistics. We have to solve this problem if you have to tell a lot of story we can tell here. The natural resource percentage growth, the average is 11% in sub-Saharan African country. And the minimum, there are some countries that even have 0, and the maximum is 70%. Renewable energy percentage of the total, we have the minimum of 68% and the minimum of the minimum of 0.71% and the maximum of this, we can tell a lot of story using ordinary summarize. You can know the average of growth in African country. You can know the average of natural resources growth in African country. We can know the average of investment, growth in investment in human capital, in which the average here is 70% and the minimum is 19% based on this data. We can also see the average of foreign direct investment, which is 3.2% here. You can tell a lot of story. This is data analytics. Given ordinary descriptive analysis, you can tell a lot of the pattern of this data to any company or any nation. So now, after telling us this one, I will just do a very simple, apart from presenting a data, we can also do a simple analysis of this. We just downloaded this data today, and we can do a lot of research, and we can write a paper here, even publish this paper in a kind of Q1 journal, depending on the kind of analysis, the result that we get. So let me show you my do file again, because I've already prepared all this and I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay, here is my do file. I can like this one here. So this is my pattern analysis using OLS, the same data. Only what I had there is the same ST, XT plus regression. Stata is all about English. Just write abbreviation of regression is REG. Put ST to declare that this is a pattern analysis. I'll just copy the same variable, just put the variable that you want, and just put streg. And I'll be sharing this code with you guys. You can do it at your own leisure. Now, I want to see if we're going to have a good result. We can have this is wealth of nation. We said they are a determinant of African, one of the drivers of growth in African countries is natural resource. And we are also saying that investment in renewable energy is also good for economic growth in West African country. And of course, human capital investment on education is one of the problems affecting developing nations, especially sub-Saharan African country. And foreign direct investment is also essential for any nation. So I'll just click on enter and see what's going to be the outcome. Surprisingly, what we can see here is natural resources, we can see 0.06.9, and it's very significant at 5% level. And we can see renewable energy also positive. There's no negative sign at the front of the coefficients, and also significant at 5% level. And what we can see is human capital development also promote economic growth at 5% level. And we see foreign direct investment with ordinary OLS. And this result is we have a very good result like this. We can write a very good paper on this one and publish this thing in a very good journal. And this is a very big data for 45 African countries. And we can tell a story that the natural resources increase economic growth in West African country by 6%. We can suggest it in our analysis. And we can say that, interesting, we can say that natural resources also increase, renewable energy increase economic growth in West African country by 2.8%. This is very realistic. This result is very, very realistic. And we can say that human investment in human capital will increase economic growth by 4%, which is very realistic. Nowhere in the world we present this kind of result in any academic journal. Even in Harvard, nobody can challenge these results. Using ordinary OLS, and we are having this great result, that means it's really telling us the pattern of the growth in West African country. Not only the growth that I'm trying to sound economics, we can also test other things like what are the drivers of female productivity or something like that in any countries, in any panel analysis. But I'm just trying to tell us what we can relate from here, that we can see that using ordinary regression analysis with these Stata, we can tell a lot of story about the problem of African country, that investment in energy is one of the main drivers of economic growth, of increase in the wealth of African countries. And that is that. And in fact, Stata is so interested that you can also tell for individual countries. Okay, yeah. So what we did here is, in Stata, we also generate what they call a domain variable for each of these countries. Like one represents Angola, country two represents Benin Republic, and I'll share you the code, no problem about this. Three represents Botswana. So you can just run this analysis and tell Stata to give you the exact, the influence of all those variables in those countries as well. And let's see what we're going to see. If foreign direct investments, investment in human capital also increase economic growth in those countries. So I've also written some code. Let's see the country, which country is 6? So what you can see here from you can see country 6 here is Cape Verde. So let's see what I'm asking Stata to tell me here is, what is the degree of responsiveness of economic growth to those variables in that very country, apart from the general African country, in individual country. Stata can also do something like that for us. And that is where I'm going to stop here. Okay, so yeah, so that's, we can go and relate with that when we get to our various places. And if you have economists amongst us, if you want us to do a very advanced one too, you can just chat me up and we can relate later. But I will just start with this basic one, and I will show us how we can actually use this thing for various countries as well. I'm copying this thing. You can see it here. What we said the same, regress. This country, this is our wealth variable, and these are the determinants. Now, I'm now telling that if the country is equals to 6, give me the results. The same analysis, if the country, just tell Stata, simple English, if the country equals to 11, I'm telling Stata to give me the result of a certain country. So let's see the one of country 6, and let's see which country is country 6. And I want to see the impact of all those variables in that very country. We can see country 6 is Cape Verde. So let me just copy it and just paste it there and see if I'm going to have, we can see natural resources is not significant in that very country, but human capital is very significant, 5% increase in economy, and it's very positive. And foreign direct investment is also very essential in that very country. So we can tell for individual countries in Stata. So if you are, what at the beginning I said for individual country, over a period of time is called time series analysis. And this is a kind of a time series analysis inside the panel analysis as well, because we are dealing with individual country now. So what we can do, if you want to do for another country, only what you have to do is just change this number, 11. Which country is 11 here? Okay, Congo. Let's see the impact of that in Congo. What we can see is here in Congo is natural resources is also very significant as a driver economic growth in Congo. Renewable energy is positive, but not significant. We can't report result that is not significant. And human capital is also significant, is an essential driver in this country as well. Foreign direct investment is also a good driver. So the way we relate with the panel analysis is how we are going to be explaining for individual country as well. So this is Stata. Only what we have to know is just if I want to like this variable. If you want to describe, summarize, need the summary of the data, just write sum and just click enter, it gives you the summary. If I want Stata to describe this variable for me, I have just tried to write describe. For me, describe. Just English, describe, and Stata will give you results. my good, can you just see? So, okay, if it's not allowed, because I put if. For describe, you have to remove. I'm not talking of the country now because I'm talking general panel analysis. Okay, just enter. It describes a variable that we use. It gives you the definition of those variables that we use. It's as simple as that. If you want to do correlation, or the simple correlation, just write correl, WCRR, with the same variable and just click enter. You can see correlation of this here. And even this is a very good result if you know the decision rule for a correlation of the multicollinearity. I don't want to sound too econometrics. So I think we can relate with a very simple one that I've analyzed. And what we can see here is that what is the main takeaway? We are able to tell us the interface of this data, and we are able to teach us how we can insert data on Stata analysis. And we're able to show us how we can do a simple descriptive analysis where we write sum and the list of the variables. And we also showed us how we can do to describe our data by writing describe with the list of the variable as well. We also taught us how we can okay, I want to increase the fonts. We can see. We also taught us how we can do a correlation analysis using a panel analysis. And these are the various commands I've executed. I made the summary here, and you can see the meaning of what we are doing. If you want to order your data, just put order and you list your variable. If you want to set your data as a panel analysis, st set. St is a general command for panel, and just put the country and the year. And we can describe, and this is our OLS. We just put st regress and the list of the variable. Okay, and other advanced one I just added, you can just relate with it, and just, if you have any question, you can ask me later. So what is the main takeaway? What we can see from our research is that the coefficient of renewable energy consumption is positive and statistically significant at 5%. The one I did was 1% before, but this one is 5%. And other things being equal, the indication of that is that 1% change in the growth or investment in renewable energy consumption is associated with 4% of the data that we have. This is not 10%, it is 6% in our result. And also human capital is also very essential in economic growth of West African country. A 1% increase in human capital is associated to 6% increase in economic growth. As you can see this one from our result here. So in our results here, what you can see is for the panel analysis, we can see this is more realistic. We can see 6%, approximately 7%. That means natural resource increased economic growth by 7%. Renewable energy consumption, if you invest, you have good electricity, you have good energy in Nigeria or in West Africa, in African country, it will increase our economic growth by 2.8%, which is very realistic. And investment in education, human capital, will also increase economic growth by 4%, which is very realistic. Ordinary Nigeria as a country has more than 218 million population, which makes the country to be sixth in the world in terms of human capital, investment in human capital. That means if you can invest in education on that very population, do you know the amount of the wealth that they can bring to the nation? Countries that jump the economic growth invested rapidly on their human capital, and they don't have any natural resource, and they have the best human capital per capita income, the income per head of the people in their country. A very good example of such country is Singapore, who doesn't even have a land to even plant to plant a agricultural product. They only invested in human capital. They have no natural resources. And as of today, Singapore, if they are not the first in terms of the wealth per individual in that very country, they will be the second in the entire world. The country that doesn't have a single natural resources that we got in Africa. So investment in human capital is very essential for economic growth. So this is what we can, these are the take away from these webinar today. And if you have any question, you can ask me while we share the code and the slide and the data with you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me, and we are very sorry for the issue of the software. It will have been nice. We can relating as I'm doing it. You guys can also be practicing it, but never mind. We'll try to solve the issue and send the software across to everybody. And Stata is also very. It's not very expensive in Nigeria. It's around 300 naira or something like that, and it has So we can also get it and try to relate with this. It's very easy to operate, and we can tell a lot of things about Stata. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Prof, and my boss from this end for this wonderful presentation and webinar. I would like to also apologize again for the challenges regarding installation of the Stata. It is beyond our control. We tried as much, but we could not. So before taking some questions, I think let me be selfish. Let me ask mine.
Okay.
So at the end of this webinar, there is a survey link that we are requesting all our participants to send us feedback, how they feel about the webinar. This will guide us in and encourage us in organizing the previous ones in the future. And again, we use the information you provided in the survey link, that's your email and the name, to send you your certificate and the slides, as well as the code that he's talking about. So please, the name you are writing on the link, it should be the way you want it to be on the certificate, please. Then my question now is, sir, this lecture is very, very important and very interesting to me, because I'm more familiar with SPSS, which is more of like click, 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 go. But I find this one, to be honest, very easy and more robust, especially if you are dealing with very large data. And number two, like the beginning, you said somebody can get his data from a World Bank and other organization. My question now is, sir, if I want to use the data for research, do I need an approval from the source, number one? And number two, is it ethical for me to use it? Is it ethical to just download and continue using it in my research? Or do I need to approval then another ethical consideration to it? Thank you so much.
Yeah, in response, okay.
Yeah. You can.
So in response to that very question, World Bank data development indicator is a free source. As you can see, I just typed WDI. You can see WDI. If you click on this thing, it will show you this. Just click on this data bank. It's free. You don't need anything. You can get the data of the entire world in 5 minutes. So just follow the video, the way I downloaded it. You can pick a lot of series as you want. So data on health, a lot of data is here. A lot. Yeah, on health, on gender issues, on various things. So I don't want to bombard us with a lot of analysis. That's why I wanted to even wanted to do some other things and see various research. But with this one that we did, if you even share the result with you guys, we can publish a good paper from here.
Oh my goodness.
The result is very nice. In fact, no journal can reject this. It's very realistic. And we use simple awareness. People manipulated results with, using various analysis tools. And if ordinary awareness can give us amazing results like this, we can tell a lot of stories. That means this data is very realistic. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
so you just need to like mention the data source in your manuscript.
Yeah, mention it. Yeah.
With the link.
Yeah, I can show you how you can also mention it. I can share you something now.
Okay.
So it depends on the way you want to present your data method. Like I use similar something in my own research as well. Okay. I call it data. So what you can see here is that I said we utilize unbalanced panel data from how many countries? From this. So that I put the data source. This is the World Bank Development Indicators. Can you see this?
Oh, okay. Yes.
And I put the link here.
Oh, okay.
It's as simple as this, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So thank you. So if you have any question, please, you can either raise your hand or drop the question in the chat box. So question and answer session. Okay. Sagir Mustafa is love to see any paper that you published. I think he has been inspired by your.
Yeah. Well, you can. Okay, let's try here. Let me just start the Google research gate. Okay, we use here. We use this. Okay.
Oh yeah, Google Scholar.
Google Scholar, yeah. Okay, yeah. What you can see is this is 2021, right?
Yeah.
So research has been cited 46. We use World Bank data for this, the same data. So, and this one is kind of health related, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So, and you can see I'm an active researcher, and this is 2022, right?
Yeah.
And we have May 2021 up there. So, and these are Q1 journals. These are Elsevier journals, not ordinary journal. So, and you can also see the data. This one is on energy policy. Okay, no, not energy policy. Okay, see more. Okay, this is energy policy 2022. Oh no, review. These are Q1. This is energy. This reform 2022, and we can also see. Okay. Let me just do like this. Google Scholar. We can just see with journals. Possible. Okay, I can custom it. I just put 2022 data paper. If you want to write a good journal, you don't publish too much, okay? Okay, yeah. So you can see this 2022. These are Elsevier journals. This paper is on natural resources endowment. What more does West Africa need in order to grow? You can see these are Elsevier journal. And you can see this paper. This is another 2022. This is also a very good journal. And this is another journal 2022. This is another journal 2022. Okay. And there are other journals that is not here published.
Yeah, so I think the main reason he wanted is like because if you say you can easily publish this the data, so by now, displaying your publications, you can clearly see from the title how feasible it is. It's practically feasible.
Yeah.
By saying it.
Yeah.
We really
So
appreciate that.
that's okay. I can see this one too. Yeah, these are good journals. To be sincere with you guys, see another. These are the same paper. These are A journals. You can see all this data were downloaded from the same source. You can see these are all SCVI journals. So yeah, and this is energy policy. This is our celebrated paper. You can see. So yeah, you can see many energy policy here. You can see this. All these journals are, and this is also, yeah, this Singaporean Economic Review. These are all Q1 journals. Yeah. These are all Q1 journals within the span of 2021, and the same data, the same analysis. In fact, the result of the one we presented today is far, far better than all these results of this paper. I didn't even expect something like this. And these are the main issues in African country, using a big data for African country, and we can present such results. And the results are very meaningful. We are saying that human capital increased the economic growth by 2.8%. I think is meaningful to anybody, more than even the results we are presenting in all this journal. Yeah.
All right, we have, okay, Shaban, do you have something? We have 3 people raising hands.
Yeah, I think let's go to them first. We
Yeah,
can give
all
them
right.
priority.
Yeah, we have Usman Muhammad. If you are around, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Okay.
Yeah, Usman Muhammad Tukur.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation.
All right.
We really appreciate.
All right.
But my question, sir, I think, I expected. Are you hearing
Yes,
me?
very well. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello? Are you hearing?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are hearing you.
Okay. I expected the prof to show us that we are small learners. We don't know how to enter a small data in order to make a simple analysis. If let's say I have 3 variables, two independent variables and 1 dependent variable. If I want to run analysis to find just simple mean deviation, standard deviation, and coefficient and other things, how should I enter the data into Stata?
Very simple.
Talk less to even download the whole country data and other things. Just simple analysis to make correlation, regression, and other things.
Okay.
How to enter the data into Stata?
Okay. I think I showed, but I'll show again. So let's open this data. All this data, I can just clear them. All these things that you've seen here, don't be scared. Just write clear. As I've shown before, clear, I've cleared. So you can see this thing has gone. There's no data here. So what you can do is you have your data saved in your desktop. Just go to a place like File here. Or a simple thing is come here, go to Data Editor, click on it. If you click on Data Editor, it will show you something like this. You can see my screen. It will show you something like Excel sheets. Then you go to your Excel file that you have opened, open your Excel folder. Suppose this is the data that you are talking about. I want to take the only 1 country data. I'm picking only 3 data that you have said. Only for Angola. I can copy for only Angola, not a very big one. Don't be scared. I can copy only Angola and just go to my here and just click on. Is it copied? Okay. Data editor. Okay. Can just right click and you can see paste. It will show you something. You want to treat the first row as a variable name. Click on variable name. You can see it has loaded your data. So, and you can start your analysis.
Wow.
Very simple, just copy and paste from Excel. This is the simplest way of loading this data. Then you can start anything you want to do here. Like as you have asked, this data has been loaded here. I can just say that give me some the descriptive statistics as you have said. The summary of it, I can just click on the data here, click on it, and just click enter. What you can see this standard deviation, mean of the data, and this is the mean and the maximum. Anything you want, you can see it here. And you can tell a lot of story here. The average number of anything, maybe patient or anything, you can start telling the story. It's as simple as that. Don't worry, you have all the codes, and this thing is also recorded. You can check it later. It's as easy as, you can see the same data we just loaded here, and we just run it now.
Yeah, and we are going to share.
Also,
Yeah, we are going to share the slides so he will see the step by step.
You can also ask, you can also say describe. You want to see the variable used. If you don't even know the variable, you can just describe and just click on enter. Only for us to understand how to write simple English and speak simple English, and just write any English for this just write any English, Stata will give you the results. I can also tell Stata to do correlation for me. Correlation, I will just write correlation, C-O-R-R. Just enter with the variable correlation, and it shows your correlation. Simple, something like this.
Oh my goodness.
It's very easy, more than any software.
For SPSS, you have to
You don't have to give yourself a headache. Very easy. And this one can take it can take the data of the entire universe.
Oh my
and you run it. So you can start applying for data analytics work. So yeah, because nowadays we are moving to the big data, not small data.
Exactly. So before checking the chat box, apologies if I mispronounce the name. Anifik Itiokang. Sorry if I mispronounce the name. Apologies.
It's okay. It's fine. Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good evening.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for the wonderful presentation. It's been quite insightful.
Yeah,
and I just want to find out. I didn't get to register. I just saw this a colleague of mine, and she sent me the Zoom link to join. So I'm wondering, how do I get in touch? How do I get the data and the software and everything? I would really love to try my hands on this, because I mean, it's data simplified, and who wouldn't want to? Yeah, it's really, and I really want to appreciate you. You keep telling us it's not difficult, and so that sort of reduces the anxiety and apprehension that comes with data analysis, right? You really presented it in a very wonderful way. I would really love to know how to get in touch, and then how to follow up with subsequent webinars, please.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
So on this, I will send you an email to you now. Then, yeah, at the end, just return my email. I'll send the email to your chat box now. So just send an email to the email. Then I'll forward your certificate, other things, and then we have some challenges with the software. So we are unable to, and the participants were unable to install it in their own system. So as soon as we get it fixed, we'll send the software into your email address so that you can install and follow the recording as well as the slides. So I will send you the email now to your chat box now. Then when you respond, then when everything gets sorted, I'll send you the PowerPoint to you. And also, sorry, the software, sorry.
No problem. It's quite understood. Thank you very much.
All
Then
right.
another thing I want to find out is Ahmed, you kept saying that you could do this with any database, I suppose.
Yes,
And then you said things that had to do with medical research too. So
yes,
I've been trying to wrap my head around getting into databases, downloading data. These days is the era of AI, artificial intelligence, and all of those.
yes,
So I'm just wondering, the way you went to WBI, if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
is that the same format that we use for every other database?
Yeah,
An idea?
they got everything in there. You can see my research. I've done a lot of research on even, let me show you something. The one I just published, you will see this. Let me show you here. I just published a data 2022. You can see carbon dioxide and mixing sciences with economics, digitalization. I'm just everywhere. So yeah, you can see drivers of female labor participation. You can see just published. So this data is also from World Bank. Any science data, World Bank has everything on their website. Just follow, you can see just follow the steps in the video on how to download the data. And if you have any difficulty in downloading the data, you need other database, you can just reach out with, I'll share you the link of those databases here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. And how do we reach you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me through the organizer. They will always
All right,
Yes,
that's great.
I've sent you the email now, and I've shared the email to the main chat box as well. So if there's any issues, you can either use the email or you
I have
can.
seen
I
that.
have a
Thank
question, sir.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then sorry. Then another person who is raising his hand is Abubakar Shaban before you. Sagir Mustafa, please. Let's be short. Let's be summarized. Mama Sagir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Presenter, for this wonderful presentation. I have this friend that is having challenge with some of his data, and there's this issue of problem with how to resolve cross-sectional dependency. So I don't know whether the presenter can help shed some light on how to resolve that.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
we are sounding econometrics now. So are you giving me permission to talk about cross-sectional dependency?
Yes, it's an opportunity for us to learn, but just be in brief.
Because yeah, we can scatter things. Yeah. So cross-sectional dependency is one of the problem of the panel analysis. Because we believe that there are some countries that depend, like if you look at my data, the data that we presented, if you look at the discrete analysis, we can see that there's a lot of variations. So you can be asked by the reviewer that maybe the main driver of economic growth in West African country is Nigerian GDP. Apologies for non-Nigerian in the house. So yeah, because Nigerian has one of the largest GDP growth in African country, in all the 48 sub-Saharan African country. They may say that the result is not realistic. So, they said there is constitutional issues. It can happen when you are talking about the countries. It can happen when you are talking about the firms. Some bigger firms are dependent on the smaller firms, and smaller firms are also dependent on the bigger firms. So in using that kind of things created a lot of spurious regression, as we want to sound econometric. So what we can do is just for us to check if there is a problem of cross-sectional dependency in our data, in our analysis. I also have the code for that, and I don't want people to be confused. So that's why I want to make it simple, that they will not see it complex. Once everybody is used to using Stata, we can just go to that. So one of the main issues of constitutional dependency is that when you find the problem of constitutional dependency in your data, so because in economics, we have to test if the data is stationary, right? So you can't use traditional unit root test. You have to use the new unit root test. Okay, then after then, you have to use a model that controls for constitutional dependency. So I can send you the code, and I can also share you my, I have a code for that, okay? Let me show you a do file where I test constitutional dependency and see what I've done. Okay. Okay, yeah. This one you can increase the font size so that you guys can see. I can select 24 and apply. All right. This is another research. So you write your code as if you are writing a paper. So this is my descriptive analysis. I declare my data as okay. Okay, you can see constitutional dependency. So yeah, so we test constitutional dependency, blah, 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 blah. These are the tests for constitutional dependency. But I don't want people, this is complex. So then in this data, we find there is no problem of constitutional dependency because the non-hypothesis says that there is a constitutional dependency. So if your variable is significant, that means there is a problem of constitutional dependency in the test. This is my CD test. You can see when I run it, I just have to run this command, CD test run. We can also run it in our data, but we don't need it for now. So what we can see here is that pass-around constitutional dependency probability is not significant, right? It is not stationary at 1%. It is not significant. So we can see this one is even like 99 probability. So we reject non-hypothesis, there is no constitutional dependency problem. Otherwise, if this one is significant, and you can also see this pass-around test is also 8%. So there's no constitutional dependency problem here. But suppose we have a problem of constitutional dependency in this data, then we have to use second generation unit root test. Then the regression analysis, we can't use ordinary OLS. That means the regression analysis that we have to use have to control for constitutional dependency. For example, we have CCR. We have many constitutional dependency analysis that we can test. We also have fixed effect CCR for constitutional dependency data. So yeah, if you want us to present a webinar for the more advanced, I'm ready to do. In fact, I prepare all the codes for even this our data in case we want to do more. In fact, I even ran it for our data and the result was also very fantastic, but we don't need that in this analysis. Simple LS is even okay for us here. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. To me, it's like, it's too technical.
That is technical, but because we are all farmers, but yeah. we can do the one for
for the
advanced and yeah.
But for that one, they have to pay for us. They have to pay per hour.
Well, that's all right, yeah.
Yes, all right. So Sagir Mustafa, boss, you'll be the last to answer ask the question. Sagir Mustafa, are you close? Then from you, I will ask Eric and Dini. Then I'll check the chat box. I have another question. Sagir Mustafa, Prof. Anyway, while waiting for Sagir Mustafa, we can, if Eric is around. Hello, maybe I mispronounced the name. Eric.
Okay. Yeah, it's Eric. Good day, all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, PSI, for this laudable initiative, and thank you, Dr. Hamid.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't know if we can visualize the data you downloaded from the WI website. I don't know if you can do some graphical representation to see how Stata does visualization. So that we can see the major difference in terms of the graphical quality, whether it's better than SPSS or that is unique. Whether in terms of the graphical this presentation, I think that will be worthwhile.
Okay.
I don't know if you can. What about R and SPSS? What is the major difference between SPSS and Stata? What advantage does it have?
Yeah, in fact, the world is going to start data analytics now. If you understand this data very well, in fact, not only doing research, you can get a job in a very good organization by telling them the pattern of the data. So the first thing I did when I started this presentation is to present the trend analysis of this data. What I did here is I tried the one of the economic growth, and I can also do the one of any of these variables. So I told us that for panel analysis, a very large data, we just have to start with ST, and it just writes line. I want to do a graph. Then just type the name of the variable you want. Okay, suppose I want to use this variable, the weight of that very nation. Okay, this is not Stata. This is not panel again because we have erased the panel one. So
yeah, you've cleared it already.
I've cleared it. This one is for time series analysis. Okay, however, as you can see, we follow the same trend for time series analysis as well. We can see here, I don't know what's wrong with my this thing is again, I want to show you guys. Okay, just wait for the similar thing here. You can come here from the slide. I've already explained each of these ones. For time series analysis, we want to do a line graph. You just put S line, and you put the same series. You can just list it. Then you just go to Stata. And let's see if this one is going to run, or we have to declare false as this. Okay. Yeah, we have to set the variable as times. Okay, S set. Okay, yeah, okay, we don't. Okay, let's try to see statistics. I'll go to time series analysis, declare a variable as the time series. We have the time which is here, and it is yearly. Then we submit. Okay. Then we can run our, should be able to run like that. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So this is for a single country, Angola. So Stata has a lot of feature. You can design this graph the way you want. You can try to, just what we have to do, just go to data editor here, graph editor. It will give you a lot of things. You can just click on the title. You can put the title and just, if you are given a kind of a trend analysis for a certain company or anything you want to do, the same method. So this is the wealth, the income, economic growth in Angola. Economic growth of Angola, because we copy only Angola data. In Angola, Angola. Let's put 1985 to 2018. Then Stata shows you something like, you want it to be large. I want a medium large. So you can also pick any color you want. From Stata, you can pick maroon, you can pick anything depending on how you want to. You can see it has shown us the title, right? Then you can also tell them this, so you can click on this, the GDP, and customize it the way, because you have to present it very well. If you are presenting for a company or for your PhD thesis, I can put space here and just say real GDP growth. And you have to tell them the measurements of GDP growth is in percentage. Just put percentage in a bracket and just, you can pick any size you want here as well. Let me see very small and see the way. Let me see, apply first. Okay, very small is too small. Let me see small. Apply. Okay. Then you can use any color that you want for this one as well. You want to pick black or red, orange, you can apply any color you want, depending on how you want to design your design. You can click on OK. You can see the year, you can use any color you want, you can drag it anywhere you want. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, okay.
You can, yeah.
I can see.
So you can also, this pattern of this, you can use any pattern. For this one, you can use dot. You can see many good journals. They use Stata to present their graphs. You can see dash long, or this, any one you want. You can see type something, you can click on this apply. You see what I can see. You can design anything, you can pick any color, you can do anything you want. You can use dash long, you can, anyhow you want. I think most journals use something like this. All these Q1 journal, they use something like this. Then you can change this one to any color. This red is not okay yet.
All right.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Prof. I think we are still running out of time. Maybe next question should be a bit brief so that we save some time. For those who have something to do at the moment, we thank you so much for participation, for supporting our programs. And for those who want to stay around, let's keep moving. Sagir, are you around? Hello, Sagir Mustafa. Anyway, so let's go to Dini Sabo. Dini Sabo, are you close? All right, so Dini Sabo seems he's not around. All right, we can go to Shamsuddin Idris.
You should unmute yourself, Shamsuddin.
Yeah, Shamsuddin, can you please unmute yourself and talk? We can't hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
My name is Idris Musa.
All right.
My questions is that I want to know what are the difference between SPSS and Stata, and which one is more important?
Yeah, to be sincere with you, I think it depends on the objective of your research. So if SPSS can answer your research objective, good. But if you are doing, there's not any research, any analysis you want to do, if you have the knowledge of Stata, you can do any analysis. It's more advanced, and the companies are using it. You If you want to work with World Bank, any very good organization, you can't be telling them I know SPSS. So they ask you for the knowledge of Stata, R, Python. So if you know these kind of things, you know that you are preparing yourself for international standard. So even as you see my presentation, I use what they call overleaf. You can't be using PowerPoint at international conference. They use advanced something like that, and that's how you can prepare yourself for the future if you want to flow in international community. And you want, Stata is more advanced. You can take any data, any large data, small data. You know, we did analysis for small countries now, only single country. And we're able to also analyze for 45 countries. I can also analyze for 98 country, 100 and something country without any stress. If you want to do that on SPSS, you're going to sweat if you want to do all those kind of things. I can also use SPSS very, very well. I can manipulate it, but Stata is just the best. Yeah.
So if we are using large data, it's better to use Stata instead of SPSS.
Yeah, thank you. And all right. There are many analyses that I can't do on SPSS. Like I can ask Stata to tell me the amount of investment in human capital that West Africa needed in order to achieve economic growth. You can have that, and Stata will tell you. And that's what makes you a professional. You can tell any company the amount of capital they need to have in their company in order for them to not to fall or something like that. So that makes you a professional. So you can't do all those kind of analysis using SPSS. So you can present yourself as an expert, telling them the trend. I can tell them, okay, this is the minimum amount of capital they can have. This minimum of investment they can have in their company. With Stata, you can do all those. You can't do that in SPSS.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, our participants, for asking a question, and those who sent their feedback through the form and through the chat box. Before going to the chairman APC, I would like to remind our participants that please, we are sharing the lecture slides, the codes, and the certificate for participation. So please help us to complete the feedback link. We are going to use the information you provided in the feedback link to send you the certificate. Please help us and do it now. Shamsuddin, can you please unmute yourself? Yes, thank you so much. So without further any questions, because Dini and Sagir, it seems they are not around, I'll hand over the everything to the chairman planning committee to continue with the webinar. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim Jato. Yeah, it's like already. I would like to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of us for taking it this long to wait and participate in this wonderful webinar. It's really a reach, and it's really eye-opening. You know, it gives us another perspective. Especially, I know most of us, you know, because it depends on the data actually. Most of us are more conversant with SPSS. That's why you can see from the question, everyone is saying, what does Stata has to offer more than SPSS? Really, and you gave a wonderful answer by saying it all depends on your research question. You know, there's no point going extra miles, you know, trying to use Stata if you can easily answer your question with SPSS. Yeah. So yeah, but if you have, you know, your data, it's, you know, something very large or something, you know, that cannot be easily answerable with SPSS, then Stata is the way. And like he said, it depends on your standards. What market are you aiming? What are you know, where you are aiming at? Are you aiming at the local, you know, local level, regional level, international level? It depends on your objectives, you know. So, but the more conversant you are with many things, then the better for you. But if you can, there's no need for you to go extra miles. If you can, it still goes back to that wonderful answer. If it answers your research question, then you are okay. You are good to go. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. And then I will remind all participants that everything we have, try and look at our website. For those that registered, we email you everything. And for those that haven't, I think you can still reach out to our email, which is shared in the chat box in case you need anything. And we'd like to notify you that we from time to time, we organize webinars like this. I think next week, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
we're
next week
having
we have
another
another one.
webinar. Yeah, so you watch out. It's clearly displayed in social media and what have you. And then you are welcome to share the learning experience with us. And I would like to sincerely thank some of my senior colleagues here present with us. I can see Dr. Hadiza Maji, which is here with us, and many more. So thank you very much for finding your time to share with us. And then finally, I think we appreciate our, let me see, sorry.
Hello. Hello. Please, I
Can you
want to
see?
ask one.
Sorry?
Shamsuddin Idris Musa.
Hey, can you give us?
Okay.
Can you give us 1 minute? Let's present the certificate then.
No,
yes, yes.
no
Okay.
problem. Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure whether my screen is in. Can you see my screen, Sham?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Hammed Musibau, for, despite your tight schedule, despite everything, for sparing this wonderful weekend of yours, the time you're supposed to be relaxing, and then, giving us this wonderful time to present this hands-on training on Stata. We really appreciate. This is our own kind of token of appreciation. Thank you very much, sir. We are grateful.
Yeah, thank you for this certificate. This will add to my CV. I highly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And anytime you need anything, I'm always ready to present, and also have some other webinar that we can actually present. I mentioned that in my presentation as well. It's all about paying back to our father's land, especially African countries. Developing human capital is highly essential. We are all going there by the grace of God. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for those words of encouragement, for your hospitality and readiness to assist and at any time. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, President, do you have anything?
Yes, before Shamsuddin to ask his final question, I would like to sincerely appreciate our guest speaker, because as I'm talking to you now is 1:25 a.m. midnight, and Dr. Hamid is still in the office to provide this webinar, and he has to drive like roughly 30 minutes thereabouts to his house. So just to know how important and how dedicated he is for this. And then I've been in his room, I mean, his office, up and down to see how we fix these software issues. And it's beyond our expertise. So we apologize for that. And Dr. Hamid, thank you so much for this opportunity. And last, that he mentioned something in the lecture and maybe we skipped it. We are all professionals and we are all aiming to go higher in our career. And sometimes what you present, like in your CV or in your documents, is the one that speaks for you when you are not there. So what is in your CV is like a replica of yourself. So if you represent, or if you write something that is not presentable in your CV, I'm just telling you, it's like you are telling the reader that you are not good or you are not fit enough for the position you're applying for. So CV is like a way of decoration, just like a car, polished car with clean, everything. So Dr. Hamid is vast in way of packaging your CV. Like you have all the same expertise with Mr. A and B, but the way Mr. A write a story about his achievement, his publication, is different from the way Mr. B does. So even if Mr. B has more achievement than Mr. A, but Mr. A packages very well, it's a very high chances that Mr. A will get the position and the other one might not even invite you for interview. So I learned a lot from Dr. Hamid on this particular issue of packaging CV. So by the grace of God, we are talking and we are going to plan another intensive webinar where Hamid will show us one step by step, and this doesn't need any software. It's just Microsoft software. But for Hamid, he doesn't use Microsoft's MS Word for CV. He uses LaTeX, and so we have two opportunities. Number one, LaTeX is free, so we don't have to be struggling with installing. At least we have 30 days trial. Is it? I think it's completely free.
Yeah, free.
So it's free. So it's just online. You just Google www, download it, and here we go. So no any issue of software challenges, no any issue of I need subscription or anything. So we use LaTeX. Hamid will show us step by step on how you can tidy up your CV, you can polish your CV, you can write story about all your achievement and how you can use it to achieve your future applications. So thank you so much, Hamid, and thank you so much, Dr. Shaban, and thank you so much, our participants. We have participants from other African countries, from Kenya, from Tanzania, and I can see some from Malaysia. We have from all over the countries. Thank you so much for your participation. We'll wrap up with the webinar with Shamsuddin, and if Dr. Shaban, your senior colleague, or Siti Nur Akila from Malaysia want to say something, or Hadiza Magaji, your senior, if she wants to say some words of encouragement to us, she's free to do. Mr. Shamsuddin, could you please be brief? We are really running out of time.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate with this presentation, and I learned a lot. So my questions is that for the certificate, is it for all participants?
Yes, so we shared a link. So for every participant who is here, the only thing that we wanted is we want the name that should appear on the certificate. That is why we send the link. In the link, you will tell us how you want your name to be on the certificate we are giving you. Then we will just ask you how you feel about the webinar. Is there any improvement you would like us to improve? Did you learn something new or something like that, or any message to us or to the presenter? Anything, or you don't have anything for the feedback, you don't have to say anything, but we just want your name and your email. Okay, this is Abubakar Shaban on the certificate. This is the email you are sending the certificate to him. Then we send this certificate, the slides, and the codes that Prof is talking about. So that's why I have just shared it, and I can do it again. I hope I've answered your question. All right. Okay, so Shaban,
Yes.
anyone who wants to pass some any information or want to say something, Hadiza Maji, if you are close, if you can say some words of encouragement to your students. Okay. So it's like she she preferred to send some text. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. So Abubakar Shaban, any other senior here?
Yeah, no.
City, is this City from USM, City Nur Akila? Are you happy to say something, or anybody from? All right, so thank you so much. Just some, I think the time is over. Anybody who wants to say some few words? No, because it's another platform to interact. If no, then we, Mr. Chairman, you can wrap up the webinar.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
no, somebody's, is that Abdurrahman? It's like Abdurrahman.
No, I think.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is that Abdurrahman? Anyway, Bafa is.
Yeah, okay. At this juncture, I think we've said everything. Is just like, thank you, and we truly appreciate. Looking forward meeting you in maybe our next webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you. So you are
Thank you
free to
so
leave
much.
now.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Hamid.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Dr. Hamid, once again, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right.